tonight. Give Mercer a lot of credit. Greg did a great job having his team ready to play. I thought they were the more physical team, and I thought they played harder than we did collectively, and they beat us. So hard to win this game. You got guys that don't want to guard and play connected, and we had some guys that did, and we had some that didn't. So it's a game of connection. It's a game of chemistry. It's a game of energy, and when you play in your home gym and you get beat in all three of those categories, you can't be surprised with the result. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's on me. It's my job to get a team playing defense. It's my job to get a team that looks like they want to play defense. It's my job to get a team connected. We look really connected at times. We've looked really connected at times this year. Unfortunately, tonight, we were far from it. And we got to make some decisions in this week of what we're going to bring to Asheville. And we've seen a side of this team that is high in effort and high in connectivity and high in defense, and we look pretty good. But when you're a 1.24 on defense in your home gym, you can't expect to win games. Defense has to matter at some point. My fault.
Coach, I'm sure, given the first meeting this year, McCreary was probably a big focus going into this game, I would assume, and should be anyway because he's a good player. But I don't think it's just kind of weird to out rebound Mercer by the margin you did and come out on the losing end because of the threes. I mean, you don't think of Mercer as a 3-point shooting team, but I guess when they get wide open looks, they're Division I players and they're gonna make some threes.
Did you see the wide open one Cobb got, the two?
Yeah.
Like low in the shot clock, right in front of their bench, and we have nobody there.
Right.
And then there's a guard-to-guard switch, and we have nobody there, and he shoots a wide open three.
Right.
So therefore, Cobb's at 22.1 OPE, which is anything over 10 is ridiculously high. Jake's wide open on the wing. The freshman of the year in the league. My fault.
It seems puzzling when you see a team that is seemingly lacking on defense, but yet really did hit the offensive boards relentlessly. It seemed like there was an extraordinary amount of effort there and much less elsewhere. But I mean, having seen the size of Mercer, that was the first thing I noticed in the game, and I felt like it continued throughout.
Well, it was three guys, so let's be honest here. P.J. Smith, 12%, Vanderwall, 14%, and Ian at 20%. Okay, those are the three guys percentage-wise that got all the offensive rebounds. Okay, we had four guys from a decent OP standpoint. Geese, 13.7, Smith, 11.3. Looks like those are the only two in double figures for us. From a production standpoint, accumulation of all offensive production, Huey's a 6.6 and Bowser's a 5.8. We had three guys negative. So I'm not sitting here saying that everybody didn't play hard. Let me be real clear. Basketball is a game of connection. Basketball is a game that you have to care about one another, and you have to understand how important team is. And so when you got guys, we didn't have a group that just quit. I mean, clearly we were down 11. The game looked like it was cooked and baked, and we fought ourselves back to a 3-point game. Imagine if we wouldn't have given wide open threes, and we would have had everybody crashing, and we would have been the more physical, connected team playing with the best energy from a totality standpoint. Maybe it's a different outcome.
Coach, Jalen McCreary, obviously he's a really good player, but normally it's rare that someone has two games like that against Furman. Can you just, it seemed like anybody that guarded him seemingly had trouble doing so. Can you speak to that?
I mean, at the end of the day, Jalen played well. He had 21 points on 16 shots. I mean, I can live with some of that. I mean, he's playing as good as anybody in our conference on film, And, you know, we at least made him have to do it on high volume. We did not turn him over. You know, he only had one turnover, and we tried to force him to play in crowds, and unfortunately, we didn't do that well enough. But Caleb goes for 14, Thomas goes for 18, Cobb goes for 11. It wasn't just McCreary, you know, and they went 9 for 15 from three. They had 1, 2, 3, 4 guys make 2 or more threes. Jake made 2, Caleb Hunter made 2, David made 2, and Jalen Cobb hit all 3 of them.
And this was a team that Furman that led the league in 3-point field goal percentage defense.
Got to want to play defense.
Coach, it's been an interesting year of ups and downs and injuries and other stuff off the court and stuff. And obviously, this is not how you wanted to wrap up the regular season, but is there almost like are y'all going to try to maybe hit like a reset button just in terms of trying to get refocused? Yeah, obviously this week, and obviously the focus has got to be on defense, but is it an overall refocus as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Scott, I think our best version is really clear. You know, I don't think you have to go out there and figure out like, okay, when's Furman at their best, right? Like when we're playing really hard defensively, when we're running in transition, and when in the half court the ball's getting moved and we're getting this thing side to side, and then we're covering backboards, you know, at a respectable fashion. It's just a choice. You know, we can have all the team meetings in the world, we can have all the reset buttons in the world. When that ball gets tipped up, there's decisions you have to make. You have to decide how much energy you put into the game. You have to decide how much you believe in connection. You have to decide on how much it's going to matter to be a great teammate, you know. And average effort gets you beat this time of year. You know, like, I don't think we have necessarily guys that just go out there and just dog it. We wouldn't have them in the game, but there's a difference between average effort and competitive excellence. And if you turn on today and then you turn on last Saturday versus Wofford, the defensive energy is just way different, right? And you turn on the Chattanooga game, the defensive energy is just way different. And, you know, right now, unfortunately for us, we're letting shots not go in be primary focus. And, you know, we've got to do a better job of understanding priorities, you know, and what that is for us. And it's always been here, the same formula, right? We got to be great teammates. Connection is going to be critical, right? And we got to go do this together. And then we got to be willing to fly around on defense, like really, really fly around, like really get in the stance and have each other's back and do it in 2 places at once, and multiple effort plays and deflections. We got to last one of those games, maybe Chattanooga, we had 17 deflections and a half. If you add up Western and today at the first half, we haven't had the 17 deflections, we've had 10. And, you know, it's, again, let me be real clear, it's on me, right? Like I'm letting players do this, and, you know, we're gonna work like heck to fix it this week. There's no give up in me, never will be, right? We're gonna take tomorrow off, we're gonna go through our same script of what we've done really the last 2 years, the same, you know, script in terms of practice and things like that. And we're gonna keep our head down and we're gonna keep pushing. I'm not gonna quit, you know. But we definitely have some things that we gotta get back on track. We gotta make some decisions what we wanna be in Asheville. And you go up there and you get your focus right, and you go and win that quarterfinal game, you never know what happens, right? But we have to be honest with ourselves and understand, like, we're not gonna win that quarterfinal game playing like we did today on Wednesday.
Coach, just, you know, looking at it, I noticed that Cooper Bowser played 24 minutes. I don't know what the most minutes he's played all year is, but just, could you comment on, I thought he did some good things on both ends of the floor. Could you just comment on his play this afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, looks like we had 4 guys that were positive, or 3 guys that were positive plus minus. Marcus was +3. Marcus rebounded the ball very well, had 10 rebounds. Marcus is a great shooter. Ball's just not going in from the perimeter right now. We'll get a lot of shots up this week, and you know, get him back on track. but he got 10 rebounds, he had 13 points, and he was a +3. Tyrese was a +2 in 17 minutes, and Cooper was a +3 in 24 minutes. And so, you know, those were your three guys that were positive plus minus. And you know, look, Coop's young. He's got a lot to learn, which he knows, but man, he tries so hard every single day. He's gotten so much better this year, and you know, you're just trusting him more out there. Like, the game's not really changing when he's in there. You know, like, you know, early in the year sometimes we would struggle to get to offense, so we would, you know, it was a lot of information for him. But now there's just not as much like, hey, you know, there's not as much unknown. You know, we can get to what we need to get to. He gives us some rim presence, and he gives us some length out there. Obviously, he's shooting a very high percentage from two, because a lot of them are dunks. And he goes 3 for 4 again tonight. He has 6 points, and did a really, really good job. And so, look, Cooper Bowser has a big time career ahead of him here, and you know, there's no secrets in that. And there's a lot of these young guys I'm encouraged by. You know, Edrin would be playing for us right now, and you know, it didn't really become apparent in his development until probably about a month ago. But you know, Edrin, when we play reserve games, is statting as good as anybody in those games, and I think he's going to have a chance to be an all-league player here. And Tommy just continues. He's reshaped his body. He shows up to work every day. The culture of work by those three young guys has been really impressive, and they kind of got a little bond to them, you know, pretty tight. Reminds me a little bit when Slaw and Mike came in here, you know, and just seeing the bonds that they had from their work early. And you know, I think they're going to be. Cooper's going to have a big jump, and you know, I wish we had the football rules. You know, I don't understand why we don't. You know, I can't do anything about that. But man, I wish I had 6 games to play him, because Ed would have played about 20 minutes in that game tonight.
You have a week. Now, if you were on a roll and you'd won the last 3 games or the last 4, it would probably seem like, gosh, I wish we could go ahead straight to it while we have that. Well, the reverse is true. Do you need that week now?
Yeah, I guess a couple people asked me that. I mean, we just got. I know I'm sound repetitive. We got to decide where we want to be. You know, like, we're not going to Asheville winning a championship and not playing defense, guys. It's not happening, right? Like, there's no world that takes place. Asheville's going to be desperate. It's going to be every single possession is going to be critically important. And you're either going to go up there and you're going to guard, or you're not. And if we don't go up there and guard, we're going to come home early. It's not like a mystery. And it's frustrating. That's why I'm mad. Like, because if we do guard, we can go up there and win it. And that's clear. Like, that's not like, oh, well, do you have any film that can validate that? It's really clear. But I've failed, and I've done a poor job getting this team to buy into that collectively. I've got guys that are doing it. The biggest thing about this week is, can I get more doing it? Can I get a group that can totally buy into this? Because here's the other thing you need. You need depth up there. Can't have guys sitting over there on that bench and trying to win 3 games in 3 days. You got to get guys that are willing to go put it on the line. You got to have some determined guys that are willing to fight. And, you know, if this was just like, hey, we're not good enough, then hey, let's kumbaya this thing, and let's just, you know, get our guys right and go up there and, you know, see what we can do. But why I'm so frustrated is because we're letting the opportunity get away from us, that if we would just buy into playing the correct way as a group, and we would have players leading it out there and demanding it. This point, March, it's players got to lead now. Players got to decide what this team's going to be defined by. And we've been clear, and obviously I haven't done enough to get through to it, you know. And I'm disappointed in myself. I'm frustrated with myself. But I tell you this, I'm not going to quit, and I'm going to work like hell to figure this thing out. And we're going to get better from it. I can promise you that. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. But there's no quit and there's no letdown. This program will continue.
Coach, obviously everything was kind of where you're gonna play next week was already predetermined going into today. You got smart kids. Was that a factor at all in your mind?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Heck no. I mean, like, have some pride.
Sure.
You win today, you get 4th seed. You want to be 4th or 5th? I want to be. If I get to pick one of those two, I want to be 4th.
Right.
Like the momentum, we talked about it all week going into Asheville, how important it is, right? We lost 2 years ago at Sanford. We went and beat Citadel, got some momentum. Next thing you know, we're in the championship. Last year, we go down to Sanford, we win the league. Momentum, right? I think this game's important for that. And, you know, a couple years ago, COVID year, we go to Wofford, we lose at the buzzer on that offensive rebound, and then we lose in a quarterfinal game. I'm not saying that you can't, I'm not saying that if you lose today, you can't win in the tournament. I'm just saying it gives you more that you gotta crawl through, you gotta work through, right? You're not playing your best when you wanna be feeling good about things, you wanna be feeling like, hey, we're playing good ball. And, you know, we've let 2 get away here back to back, and, you know, it's the same story. It's the same story, you know. But we're gonna rest up. We're gonna fight like heck to figure it out. And, you know, it all resets in Asheville. That's the biggest. I mean, in life, you're always looking for hope. Well, we got hope, right? Season's not over. We got hope. We've shown that we can play with anybody in this league in a lot of different games. But it's a certain intensity and a certain defensive mindset, and it's a certain connection on offense that is paramount to how we have to be successful. And there's going to be no other way to get this done.
And just speaking of hope, I guess the 40 minutes you played against Sanford here, and the 39 minutes you played in Birmingham defensively against a team like that, it's got to give you hope and also give you a little anger that, you know, you've proven you can play like that, but you just got to, you know, get that consistency.
Listen, we won 5 in a row in this league at one point. We won 4 out of 5 in this league at one point. You know, we've had some very, very good defensive performances, and a lot of the year we've been in the top 3 defensively. But we have to be consistent with it, and it can't be selective. So my biggest hope with this team is now they know, like, hey, you know, it's the next game. If you lose it, you're done. That's where we are, right? There's no like, hey, come back to practice. Like, you go out there with your back on the wall, and you have to make a choice, right? Like, how determined we're going to be. We didn't really determine team day. You know, we did late once we were trying to find a way to pull off a miraculous comeback. But man, we were playing great offensively in that second half, and we just couldn't get stops. I mean, it's like, it's a game of runs, you know, like we start scoring, we start figuring things out, start making a few shots. We go 3 for 16 from 3 in the first half. All of a sudden we get a little bit better rhythm. Score 46 points in the second half. They score 48. So that's 55 and 48 in the last 2 second halves. Okay? Like, you put those 2 halves together, like you're giving up over 100. Yeah. Sounds complicated.
Good.